So, fellas, an interesting development has come in the last couple of days. It seems that the mainstream media is all in agreement that LeBron James should retire from basketball. And it's kind of funny because they've all come out like a pack of hyenas just all at once with this notion. But what I find interesting about it is that, in my opinion, LeBron James should have retired about 4 or 5 seasons ago once he won the championship with the Lakers. Now, if he wanted to retire on the highest of highs, he could have retired in 2018 when he got swept, but took that motley crew team to the finals. But of course, we know LeBron James's whole GOAT debate is also based off of accolades and not championships. And that's why I wanted to use this as a backdrop today because I believe this is Skap Attack and Jason Whitlock. They just had a discussion about whether or not LeBron should retire. And I've been seeing it for the last couple of days. I first saw, I believe, the Odd Couple, something popped up talking about retirement. I thought that was interesting. Only until I saw First Take and all these other shows talking about LeBron James retiring. Now, why? Why now? Out of all times, why now is it the time for LeBron to retire? You can't tell me, well, it's because he's having a crappy season or because the Lakers are the ninth seed. I mean, what are they, 12-9? They were about 12-9 this time last season. The Lakers have been the ninth seed and the eighth seed and the play-in tournament seed for the last 4 to 5 seasons. As a matter of fact, 2 seasons ago, they didn't even make the playoffs. I didn't hear anybody calling for LeBron James's retirement then. So why exactly are they calling for his retirement? Well, we're gonna watch this video. I'm gonna let them talk and then I'm gonna chime in.
What do you make of LeBron James? They're saying that he was going to play 82 games this season. Now they're saying, I'm not sure if he can play 82 games. His plus minus is the worst on the Lakers team. Can we just write this off as like, hey, the guy's 39 and father time has caught up with him. No harm, no foul here. It was bound to happen. Let's cut LeBron some slack. This would happen to anybody in their 20th, 21st season. Your thoughts?
Well, Jason, first of all, thanks for having me. As always, a pleasure to be here with you. And look, the reason I reject that narrative line is because longevity is the preeminent feather in the king's crown in his argument for his GOAT status. Like him playing at these high levels into this advanced stage of his career is what his entire case is constructed around. We
Ding, ding, ding. This man hit it right on the head. Shout out to Scott, man. Let's talk about it. LeBron James has three legitimate, and I shouldn't even say legitimate, but he has three championships and then a bubble ring, from 2020. So he has like three and a half chips, right? We all know the greatest of all time, Michael Jordan, has 6 chips at 6 appearances. LeBron James has lost the finals 6 times. Basically, he has no shot at winning the GOAT debate just off of, making it to the finals and championships alone. He decided years ago that his way of being called the GOAT was to play a long, long time in the league and chase accolades. Only at this point in his career, it just seems like he's all out of juice. What I've noticed, at least in this season, but honestly, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I've noticed in the last 5 seasons, is that LeBron James pats his stats, and all he pretty much does after he passes stats is not play defense. And since he doesn't play any defense, the Lakers lose. Uh, I'm just curious as to why exactly the mainstream media is now deciding to come out and call him out for stat padding and then call him out saying he should retire. Is it because they're tired of this dog and pony show that's been the Lakers? And if that's the case, why weren't they tired seasons before? Or is it just because there's no one else to blame? Now that is what people need to think about. I mean, think about it before. It was real easy to say Anthony Davis was inconsistent, right? Now this dude's basically giving you 30 something a night with like 12 rebounds. Before they could say it was Austin Reeves, right? Now Austin Reeves is giving you about 18 points a game. They can't say it's Dalton Connect. He's a rookie who's clearly outperforming any other rookie and on his way to possibly being rookie of the year. You really can't say it's Rui Hachimura. He's giving you like 15 points a game. And you damn sure can't say it's D'Lo because in the last 5 or 6 games, he's been averaging about 17 points. So really, everybody else at this point, I think, has figured out they need to more prioritize getting their numbers, even though they want to win and they're playing within a team offense. They're prioritizing getting their numbers so that they can't be the ones on the chopping block when shit doesn't go well for LeBron. Because had any of these guys been playing very poorly up till now, oh, trust me, they will be the first ones they're talking about how much can we get for them. They're still talking about trading D'Lo, and now they're trying to say it's defense, but it's very hard to say that the Lakers' problem is defense when you know the weakest defender on the team is LeBron James. It's not Austin Reeves, it's not D'Lo, it's not the lies that they try to say it is, but it's clearly LeBron, and LeBron makes it hard to cape up for him because there's just too many plays per game where he's not playing defense and he's on the other side of the court while everybody else is playing 4-on-5. I repeat this multiple times on this channel. They're playing 4-on-5 defense too much, and it's so obvious. Yet people refuse to take that into account. They refuse to take what I'm saying seriously. What sense does it make for someone to be on the other side of the court while you're playing defense? Even if you're playing in a freaking pickup game at 24-hour fitness. There's no way you're going to win a game when everybody isn't back playing defense.
We know that his peak does not touch not only Michael Jordan, but several other all-time NBA greats. Therefore, it's just the sustainability that LeBron has been banking on. And he has been absolutely terrible this season. You mentioned the plus minus. It is minus 111 currently right now. But beyond that, the on-off numbers are historically abysmal. He is losing 16 points per 100 possessions this season that he is on the court for the Lakers. That means that every 100 possessions he's playing, the Lakers are losing 16 points. To put that number in perspective, like SGA, who's one of the preeminent MVP candidates, is plus 16. Nikola Jokic right now is like plus 30 almost. LeBron is minus 16, Jason. It's because of his laughable defensive effort. It's because the far and away turnover king in NBA history is almost leading the NBA in that statistic this season. When you add it all up, this guy is hurting the Lakers. He's an absolute detriment. And that's really where I impugn LeBron the most for this. It's not the lack of his physical tools or the diminishing of the physical tools in this is 20th.
That's the funny part. What I find interesting about what Skap is saying is that, not that it's not true because it all is, but it's been the same thing for seasons in. The only difference is that LeBron's not putting up closer to 30 points a game. He's not giving you 25 to 26. I think he's giving you closer to 21 points, which everybody knows that's borderline even all-star. I mean, you can kind of have a superstar here and there give you 25, but even that's low for superstar numbers. But just being a 21, that's D'Lo in a good year. You know what I'm saying? That's Randall in a good year right there. There's nothing to really talk about when you're scoring 20, 21 points a game. But I think what's worse than that is that everything that LeBron is doing, from what I've seen, is just normal LeBron. The difference is somehow he managed to even be worse on defense this year than any other year. And he's already been abysmal on defense. He's already been horrible. But this year, it's just so blatant that I think people are just like, wow, okay, we just have to call it out. And to make it worse, it's really messing up his plus-minus numbers. It's really messing up his plus-minus numbers because Anthony Davis is still on most nights, I should say, firing on all cylinders. Now, that loss that they had to the Timberwolves where they only scored 80 points, I don't know how the hell that happened. Well, again, I know how it happened, but it's just crazy to have a team where You're scoring 80 points in the modern NBA because your superstar, quote unquote superstar, is out of gas. He's not only at this point out of gas defensively, but he's starting to look like he's out of gas offensively. And I think that's where it's causing for pause, where people are starting to talk about LeBron in the sense of him retiring more than anything. But on top of that, what else does he really have to accomplish outside of him wanting to play 82 games this year? Which, okay, what else? I mean, seasons past, they could say, well, he's, chasing the all time scoring list, which he was, and playing horrible doing it, and losing in the game where he did it. Then this season, or the season last year, it was, well, he's playing until his son comes into the league. He wants to get Bronny James in. It's clear to see at this point that there's just no way possible LeBron can even be a respectable ball player by the time Bryce James is getting into the league, which is what, 2 to 3 seasons down the line? 2? I think 3 years? Yeah, by then he'll be way since washed. But I just find it interesting because, like I said, why are we barely talking about this now? Unless it's just because there's nothing else that LeBron can really accomplish from an accolade standpoint. All he's going to do is keep adding to his all-time turnover list and keep adding to his all-time missed field goal list.
Year. It's the fact that he doesn't care to put in winning caliber plays. He's just storing energy through various stanzas of the game so that he can continue to stat pack and try to build his little hollow box score establishment up here that he's been working on for the last 22 years now. But the Lakers are supposedly a title contender. He's got a top 3 MVP candidate in Anthony Davis. He is actually impairing their ability to challenge and to threaten for an NBA title this year. That's what we should really be taking some points away from the LeBron GOAT case, I think, this year on.
Stop asking research questions to ChatGPT. Its answers are not reliable.
You said something I need you to circle back on and clarify. I'm sure you're prepared for this, even though I didn't tell you. But you said his peak does not touch many other players. So that's not just Michael Jordan, you're saying. Whose peaks were higher than LeBron James's peaks? And you're making me think of, LeBron, when he carried Cleveland to that first NBA finals, that's peak LeBron, and you're saying there's a bunch of people not named Michael Jordan who had higher peaks than that?
Yeah. I mean, of course we have Michael Jordan. You have Kobe Bryant, of course. And I think Kobe Bryant's peak, just in my opinion, was like his late run in the 2000s. Probably starting around 2006 or 7 when he won an MVP. But a lot of people, what they don't talk about too with that run is the fact that he did it with his second best player being Pau Gasol. Now, if you're a Laker fan, I'm definitely not trying to disrespect Pau Gasol or the team at the time. But if we can talk and be real, Pau Gasol was not that good of a player. And Kobe won 2 championships and beat one of the greatest teams ever assembled in that Boston Celtics team. Let's be honest. They have Rajon Rondo, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett. He beat that team in the 2010, right? Lost them in 2008, but took them with a player like Pau Gasol. Now, if we rate Pau Gasol accordingly, and this is why I tell people, if you put LeBron on that team doesn't even get close to the finals. Because LeBron has never won a championship where the deck wasn't stacked abnormally in his favor to a high rate. So when you really rate Pau Gasol averaged about 19 points a game, yo. 19 points, bro. Not even really getting to 20. I think he had 20 points per game maybe 1 or 2 seasons back when he was with the Grizzlies. But when he was with Kobe, I think he averaged like 19 points a game, bro. But let's just be honest. If you were to rank Pau Gasol in today's league, just like if you were to rank him back in his day, And what a lot of people don't realize is he wasn't a top 10 player. I don't even think he was a top 20 player. As a matter of fact, just off the top of my head, you can name from 2000 and his peak is about 2006 to like 2009 or 10. Um, there are at least 15 players better than Pau Gasol, and I can name them right now. You got Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony. You got Chris Bosh. You got Kevin Garnett. You got Dirk Nowitzki. You got Tim Duncan. You got Dwight Howard. You got Allen Iverson, right? And then you have like who do you have else? You have Baron Davis. You have Gilbert Arenas, right? You have Yao Ming. You have Tracy McGrady. You have Shaq. And did I say Dwayne Wade? I might not have said Dwayne Wade, but that's 15 right there. And then I could probably name another 5 better than Pau Gasol because there are a lot of people who average well over 20 points per game in that league. But if you was to rank Pau Gasol in this generation, basically, he's Kristaps Porzingis. He's somewhere between Kristaps Porzingis and Lauri Markkanen. Now, I know that sounds disrespectful. I know a lot of y'all would be like, yo, bro, you tripping, fam. But I'm going to give you guys something. Lauri Markkanen, I think, last year averaged 25 points a game. I think Kristaps, like, when he was at the Wizards and with the Mavs, he was averaging, like, closer to 23, 22 points a game. Like I said, Pau Gasol's never even gotten up there. Now, he had a little bit more intangibles than Kristaps, and he definitely had more durability than both of them in his prime. Defensively, he got better with Kobe, and that's another thing that you can add to Kobe. Kobe actually made Pau Gasol a better player. LeBron James has never made anybody better ever. He's never made anybody on his team better. They actually get worse when they play with him, and by a large number. Look at Kristaps and Kevin Love. They just look absolutely not the same. Before Kevin Love got there, he was an MVP caliber player. Once he played, he just looked like some damn role player, the fifth man off the bench. And that's the thing that you got to point out. Kobe actually made Pau Gasol a better player all around, and he made him championship worthy. But Pau Gasol by himself, there's a reason why the Grizzlies was willing to trade him for Kwame Brown. And shout out to Kwame. But there was a reason why they was willing to trade him for that much. Because he was just a okay player that Kobe turned into what looked like a superstar. That's why when people talk about Pau now, what irritates me is that I hear a lot of these mainstream media people talk about Pau like he was in the ilk of a Tim Duncan or something. Like they talk about Pau like in his day, it was Tim, Garnett, and him. And I'm like, that just wasn't the case. Like Pau Gasol wasn't really on that level as far as what they could do in their primes and what Pau could do in his prime. Now, that's not to take any disrespect to Pau because he was a winner at the end of the day. He knew how to win, and he figured out how to win playing with Kobe. And that's what you need. But as far as an individual talent, nah, guys more closer to a Kristaps than anything, bro. And that's just the facts that a lot of people don't really look at. And I get it too. Like Lauri Markkanen got, he's averaging 25, and Pau probably averaged 20 in his prime. That doesn't mean Lauri Markkanen's better than Pau, because this, I don't want you guys to get confused. This day and age, the scoring is a lot different. They chuck up a lot more threes, so they're able to get up there. And then, of course, like the defense is trash, and the offense can basically do what they want now compared to fighting tooth and nail to get a bucket back in 2008. So I understand the difference, but if you're looking at a talent per talent perspective, I would put him closer to a Kristaps than I would put him to a Tim Duncan. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that's right. If you want to look at that first NBA Finals, first of all, Jason, that was in the putrid, festering turd that was the Eastern Conference back then. He didn't even play a team with a winning record till the Eastern Conference Finals that season when he faced the Detroit Pistons, who did not have Ben Wallace anymore that year. I believe he was in Chicago that season. So the only winning team he got before the Spurs in the finals was until the Eastern Conference Finals. So that was him carrying a team, then getting swept in the finals while shooting 35% against the San Antonio Spurs in a series that was highly winnable. That his third-rated defense for the year held the Spurs to 89 points per game in that NBA Finals series, but yet LeBron couldn't even get one game in his peak. See, when I look at peak dominators, Jason, I look at guys who would have won that championship, who would have taken less or marginal talent and went all the way and won it. Where do we see LeBron James ever doing that throughout the entire course of his NBA career? His first 2 championships came in Miami in stacked, loaded conditions with a super team, 3 perennial All-Stars and Hall of Famers on that squad in Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh.
Why Jason Whitlock look like he wondering what the hell he about to eat after this? Maybe I'll give me a ribeye steak. You know what? How about some fried chicken? In all seriousness, though, man, this dude has a great point. I mean, you look at 2007. I would say LeBron should have won if he's the best player in the league, like he was supposed to be. I think he won an MVP that year, bro. People forget just how trash the East was before Giannis and them developed. Like, the East was so horrible. It's still not even a good conference nowadays. But the East was so bad back in the 2000s. Most people could cakewalk through it and win just by having a decent season. Like he said, bro, no team that he played until he got to the East Finals was even above 500. Do you know what that means? That means that they won less than 41 games. They won less than 41 games, and those are the teams LeBron played in the playoffs. Now, when it comes to that Spurs team, a lot of people, and it irritates me so much, how much people try to overhype just how talented the Spurs were. Now, don't get me wrong. Tim Duncan, phenomenal, one of the greatest players to ever play the game. Outside of that, Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili are really great role players. I think Tony Parker made an all-star game here or there, but they're role players. They're not superstars. So if you're that good of a player, then you figure out how to win. And I get it, LeBron was young back then. But even if you wanted to err on the side of giving LeBron some credit or some type of, chill pill, there's just no way that he should have got swept. There's no way you should have got your ass swept, bro. At the very least, if you're LeBron James and this is 2007, you should have took that series to 6 or 7 games. And I would say 7 because it's not like LeBron, as much as we like to say everybody on this team was hot garbage. Am I saying that they were Ginobili and Tony Parker? No. But if LeBron is as great as we say he is, he should have at least gotten to 7 games. He should have. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. Like, even when they got beat in 2018, bro, you should have at least got game 1 and got one more game off that shit. And I get it. The Warriors were just, they had Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. I get it. But at the same time, winners figure out ways to win. You just got to figure out a way to get there, bro. It can't always just be they were just better than us. And there's no way you should be getting your ass swept if you're the king. No way.
He then goes and gets Kevin Love, who's a top 10 player at that time, and ascends.
And before people sit here and say, oh, J.R. Smith, I don't know if y'all remember, but right after J.R. Smith made that blunder, which, let's be honest, was horrible, LeBron sat on the bench and said, do we have a timeout or something? And then he sat there and cried. He sat there, put his jersey over his face, and cried like a $2 hoe, bro. Cried. Game's still going. We still have overtime, right? And your best player is on the bench crying? That, for me, especially being younger, was the definitive nail in the coffin for me to know everything I needed to know about LeBron James and know that he is not a winner. He is a mama's boy, not a winner. You don't sit there and cry when you have a big platoon of troops to rally up. If you go to war, do you sit there and cry when you're the sergeant and the general? Absolutely not. You don't cry in front of the troops. You show a position of power. You let them know, even if you blame it on J.R. Smith or the coach, you let them know, even though we messed up, we still got 5 more minutes to prove that we're the better team. You don't cry and give up and then go to overtime and mope around like a hoe. And that's the biggest problem about LeBron. For you guys who defend him, I don't know how you defend crybabies unless maybe you're a crybaby yourself. Who knows?
Kyrie Irving. He wins 1 championship with that. Then he traverses his way to L.A. and gets Anthony Davis, who is an undeniable top 5 player in the NBA in the 2019-2020 season when he won his 4th title. Where do we see an example of LeBron defying all odds and leading a team to a championship, a challenging championship? It's never happened. In 22 years, we're still waiting. Conversely, we have plenty of other examples of that. Well, I'm saying we have plenty other examples of that, including Michael Jordan.
He was just about to say it, Whitlock, if you didn't just get in his way. Damn.
We'll even present to you Kobe Bryant with Pau Gasol as his only other All-Star. Kobe Bryant winning back-to-back NBA championships without another top 75 player in a loaded Western Conference where he's playing 50-win teams in the first round.
For all you guys who wanted to defend Pau Gasol when I was saying what I was saying a few minutes ago, bro's not even a top 75 player. Not even a top 75. They put Anthony Davis in there before him. That should tell you where you rank Pau Gasol. And yes, Anthony Davis is better than him.
I will even take you and present Hakeem Olajuwon. Look at this guy. 2 league MVP, or a league MVP, back-to-back championships in 94-95. He won Defensive Player of the Year to go along with an MVP in one of those seasons. He had practically nothing that he was working with from a roster standpoint. Again, a loaded playoff field that he had to face. And he didn't have the all-time help that LeBron had throughout the course of his career, so he doesn't have as many championships. But those 2 titles are as good as anything that anyone has ever won in NBA history. They're better than LeBron's. I'll even, Jason, present you with this. Giannis Antetokounmpo won a championship in his career with Chris Middleton as his second option. Nikola Jokic has an NBA championship with Jamal Murray as his second option. Jamal Murray has never made an All-Star, All-NBA appearance in his entire career. These championships that we've seen recently are much more challenging than LeBron James. I would put plenty of players' peaks above LeBron James as well.
Ding, 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 ding. Like he said, Hakeem Olajuwon, bro. Hakeem. And don't forget, in that one series, he went up against a Shaq and Penny Hardaway, bro. This man had to go up against 2. Penny at the time was almost an MVP. Almost an MVP, but he had to go up against one of the greatest basketball players in Penny Hardaway. And I don't want to hear Shaq was young because he got drafted in, 92? Yeah, I don't want to hear it. Then on top of that, we have 2 players in LeBron's era. We got Giannis Antetokounmpo, who faced, honestly, a Phoenix Suns team that everybody was saying was going to win because they was riding for Chris Paul. I remember watching Colin Cowherd at the time. They swore that they was going to win, and it was looking like they might have. That Suns team was tough. Only for Giannis to go nuclear when the odds was against him, when everybody favored the Suns, as they should have, because I think that Suns team won 67 games. It was crazy. They was balling. And they beat the Lakers that year. Remember? In 5 or 6. But basically, they had to go through everybody in the West and then lost to Giannis. And then Nikola Jokic, who beat Yo Kang, Queen James over here, and did it while Jamal Murray, who I would akin to closer like a Tim Duncan type of player, not Tim Duncan, a Tony Parker type of player, at the end of the day, he did it by being the only star on his team. Now, he did play a weak-ass Miami Heat squad, but that's the same Miami Heat squad y'all try to give LeBron James all the credit for, so I don't want to hear it, because that's the same Heat squad that the Lakers in the bubble beat.
Well as from an eye test standpoint, I think many players have exceeded LeBron James throughout his career. The only thing that props him up and presents him into that top 3 spot, which many people falsely have him at, is the longevity, the counting stats. So we see him continuing to pad those stats this season, and it's in the face of trying to actually win games.
And honestly, y'all, I might just leave the video here. I got some more minutes in me, but to keep it a buck with y'all, like, that's one thing that gets to me. Like, you guys put this dude in a top 3, right? He's a top 3 greatest player of all time according to a lot of you guys because of his stat padding. And that's what irritates it to me, because it's like, it's clear as day LeBron has spent many years padding his stats versus winning. There's so many ways, and I will be honest with you guys. If LeBron James had enough talent, I see what people see in him. I see the energy and what he is as a player, to where people go, that's the greatest player I ever saw. Because in another reality, he could have been. He could have been the greatest player of all time. He had the talent. He had the megalomaniac mentality to, keep up with his body on the level that most people can't, even though it might be a Lebalco, who knows. But he had everything that you needed to be one of the greatest outside of, terrific offensive repertoire. But what gets in LeBron's way for me is his narcissism. And the fact that he was never willing to be coachable. And you have people who say LeBron's never had a coach. Bro, Tyronn Lue is considered one of the greatest coaches right now. Bro, Eric Spoelstra, as we see, is one of the greatest coaches of all time. I don't want to hear that. He had his coach. When people talk about how, because I hate hearing this, but people say Jordan could have did nothing without Phil Jackson, and then they say Kobe could have did nothing without Phil Jackson. Well, let's not forget, Phil Jackson was a rookie coach when he coached Jordan, and Jordan bought in. So you guys who sit here and say, oh, well, Eric Spoelstra was young, what the fuck does that mean? That's exactly what Jordan had to do with Phil. What does that mean? That was LeBron James' opportunity to buy in. Instead, he tried to get him fired. Instead of buying into who we know now. And unless you got Stevie Wonder's glasses on and you're blind as hell, who we know now as one of the greatest coaches to ever play the game in the NBA. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time. Eric Spoelstra. We know this, right? LeBron had that man as a coach. And if you were that good, then you're just that good. But it's like, for you guys to be like, well, he had him when he was young. What does it mean? Jordan had Phil Jackson when he was young. Here comes rookie coach. He's teaching system. You humble enough to buy in. Now we flip it to LeBron. Here comes rookie coach. He introduces the system. You humble enough to buy. Oh, wait. LeBron's not humble enough to buy in. Therefore, he never was willing to change his game when he was supposed to. There was a time where Jordan had to change his game to start winning championships. He couldn't just be an offensive score and defensive scoring dynamo. He had to play within the system. Eric Spoelstra had the system. LeBron James refused it and has refused it ever since. Therefore, he still plays this trash-ass system that he was supposed to get rid of well over a decade ago in 2010. Been 15 years. And he still ain't got rid of it. And that is why people get on LeBron, and that is exactly why LeBron James cannot be the GOAT. Had he bought in at that time, that was his opening door. Had he bought in, humbled himself, we might be talking about a dude who, even though he does it on the super team, has at least 7 to 8 championships. Super team or not, people will be like, LeBron has 7 or 8 chips. He most likely would have never had a meltdown against the Dallas Mavericks. He would have been playing defense his whole entire career. He wouldn't have got his feelings hurt when they gave it to Marc Gasol, and therefore it might have actually been an actual real two-way player and not just have 2 seasons of two-way playing. Now we're talking about a different conversation. But no, that was his decision. Look at his career now. All he cares about is longevity. He doesn't care where it puts this Laker team. As long as he can say, I'm averaging a triple-double, because it looks like that's what he wants this season, and he wants to play 82 games. It's him, with his son on the court. Him. And then you guys clearly clack in the comment section defending this nonsense. And it's been 15 plus years of nonsense with this dude. Golly.
It's pretty pathetic to watch.
Let's be honest. The insurance model is broken. Crowd help. Allen Iverson carried the Sixers to the NBA Finals with a similar type roster that LeBron had in Cleveland. Maybe worse, who knows, but Allen Iverson, half the size of LeBron James. Isaiah Thomas won 2 back-to-back championships with a lot of good players, but no all-time greats around him.
Well, at least Allen Iverson got a game off, and LeBron got swept both times he had that same type of roster.
So there's a couple of names you left out that if you really wanted to go further, I think what's transpiring right now is just a reflection of just how narcissistic LeBron has been in terms of...
Ding, 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 ding. Narcissistic. That is that man. One of the biggest narcissists you ever will see. And look, every great player got to have some type of narcissism in him, bro. You got to have some type of mentality that says you're the best of the best, which is what makes you, do what you do and put the work in to get where you are. But LeBron's narcissism is on another level. It's at the point where he only cares about himself. He doesn't care about the team. It's all about him.
This has only been about him and his son playing together and making that bit of false history. And now that he's done that, and now that he's seen that his son is getting no credit, and nor is he getting any credit for it, LeBron has lost some interest. He looks like a guy that's playing in his 20th year, knows that he's not going to win an NBA title.
LeBron looked like he was twerking over here when Bronny shot this shot. Why his fingers look like that?
He looks bored and disinterested, and maybe the only thing keeping him active is what you're talking about, padding his stats.
Absolutely, and Jason, the Bronny situation could not possibly have gone worse. They draft him, they steal Dalton Knecht with the 17th pick overall in the draft. Knecht looks like a bona fide rookie of the year. He's at the very least in the top 2 contention for that metric. Dalton Knecht has led this team in scoring twice, including a crazy 37-point game where he made 9 3-pointers, which ties an all-time NBA rookie record. And as all of that is transpiring, Bronny James in this same rookie class is absolutely stinking it up in the G League. This kid is averaging basically 5 points per game on terrible shooting in the G League, similar to what he did at college in his first season. It just looks absolutely pathetic right now. And
hey, man, we've already been down the Bronny James road, man. That dude, I think Whitlock got a point, though, where he says he just looks like he's bored out of there, but I just don't think that's an excuse. When you the GOAT, every season is supposed to be you winning. This Laker team has enough talent to where they could win. If LeBron was humble again, he would, sacrifice his minutes, sacrifice his time for the greater good of the team, and then just prioritize defense and not absorbing the ball. But because, like I said, he wasn't even willing to be coachable when he had Eric Spoelstra. Wasn't willing to be coachable. So this is the guy that you guys call GOAT. That's y'all king. That's y'all king, bro.
And really, it's a commentary on LeBron. He's hurting this kid's career. Like, the pressure that he must have placed on Bronny to come out of college when he clearly wasn't ready. and put him in this environment has opened him up for this kind of criticism. What kind of parenting is this? What kind of tactics are these that we're seeing from him? And now, the whole way, LeBron has been talking.
Bro, I don't know if y'all watch anime, man, but LeBron remind me of Hercule, bro, or Mr. Satan from Dragon Ball Z, dude. He just remind me so much of that dude, like steals all the glory, steals all the thunder. Know what I'm saying? To everybody thinks it's him. Somehow he runs and cowers and he hides, and then everybody thinks he's the one who beat the big bad of the day. He gets the millions and millions of dollars. He gets the glory, the fame. The world loves him to no end. Know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we all know, and he knows. Even though he talks that big talk, Mr. Satan knows one thing. He's a fraud. He's a fraud, a phony, and a charlatan. And to me, LeBron James reminds me so much of this dude. Every time I sit there and have these conversations, he uses these narratives, these stat pattern ways to try to make himself be the GOAT, when in reality he's a fraud and a charlatan. And he can't get up there and be a GOAT, bro. But he just reminds me so much of him.
Talking about this as if it's an accomplishment for him. Because again, the longevity stats, the longevity metrics. So I think this whole season is just looking like a colossal disaster from the outside looking in. And the Lakers, quite frankly, they're in playoff range and they've been flirting with a top 4 seed line. This is a team talent-wise that if LeBron was playing winning basketball could be a viable title contender. I'm not just saying that. Talent for talent-wise, this roster has the talent to compete for a championship.
Man, don't be flinching. You heard him, Whitlock. Lakers got enough talent to win the chip, bro. No, they don't. I mean, I don't think they beat the Celtics, but they got enough talent to make the finals. If everybody bought in and played defense, like the Lakers got enough talent to beat anybody. They could. Would I put them against everybody? Honestly, yeah, outside of the Celtics. I don't see anybody in the West really messing with them. And you see how many times they almost beat the Nuggets. It's only LeBron that gets in the way. Like, they always get close to beating the Nuggets, and then LeBron gets in the way. I think they could beat anybody in the West. And that's why people are having these conversations. Like, they're the 9th seed right now, dude. The 9th seed. There's no way a team with this much talent, with an MVP level player in Anthony Davis, who looks like he might be primed to play 81 games this year. There's no way a team like that, who got a rookie of the year in Dalton Connect, who can give you 20-something a night, you know what I'm saying, and get hot for 37. An Austin Reeves, who's just an offensive dynamo, you know what I'm saying, as a guard. A three-point knockdown shooter and floor general in D'Angelo Russell. You know what I'm saying, who led teams to the playoffs like the Brooklyn Nets. And then you got Rui Hachimura. Vanderbilt's always hurt, but you got Rui Hachimura. You got dudes like Gabe Vincent coming off the bench, being the third or fourth guard off the bench. I just don't see, outside of, and Jackson Hayes, shout out to him, but outside of needing an actual true center, like a true level center to play next to Anthony Davis so he can actually play power forward instead of center, outside of that, I don't see anything else that the Lakers really need to beat anybody else in the West. They need to be faster, right? Well, the only slow person on the team is LeBron, who hogs the ball 80% of the time he's on the floor. Oh, the Kings are faster than them. Of course they are. They run them off the floor every time. But in reality, it's because when they put Bron out there, the style of offense is just too slow. And then you constantly playing 4-on-5 on defense. This team gets a lot of talent, bro. People don't realize it, man.
But LeBron James is not interested in making winning plays and playing winning basketball. He's more concerned with what his stats look like.
How much blame do you put on J.J. Redick, if any?
Man, to be honest with you, that's a yes man. J.J. Redick's a yes man. What do you really expect him to do outside of be a weenie wagon rider for LeBron James? Like, he's on the LeBron weenie wagon just like almost everybody else is inside of the Laker organization. He got hired to be you feel me, LeBron James's coach slash, I don't even want to use that word, but coach slash I don't want to use the word that I'm thinking, man. I'm not gonna say that because I just got my account in. But but basically he does everything that LeBron tells him to do because LeBron is basically his boss. LeBron basically hired him.
You know, it's difficult, Jason, to put any blame on J.J. Redick. This guy is so ridiculously unqualified for this position. He has it only because his bestie and wine-sipping podcast co-host LeBron inserted him, basically dictated to the Lakers front office and ownership that this is the guy that we're hiring. So if you're J.J. Redick, and literally the only reason you're there is because LeBron essentially himself hired you, what are you supposed to do other than whatever the hell he asks you to do and wants you to do?
Ding, ding, ding. Hey, shout out to Skap Attack, bro. I need to watch your channel a little bit more, man. You know exactly what you talking about over here, dude. I need to give you a bigger look, man. Everybody in the comment section keeps saying I'm taking your thumbnails. I don't know if I am or not, y'all, bro. I just be Googling stuff and whatever pop up, I just take it. I don't really even know how to make a thumbnail to keep it a buck with you. One of y'all show me in the comment section so I can get these thumbnails popping so I can stop taking scaps since that's what y'all keep saying. I'm assuming you're talking about this dude.
The people that should bear the weight of this blame, other than LeBron himself, is the Lakers' ownership. What in the world is the Buss family doing? Jeannie Buss, village idiot number one, who has just constructed this whole 6-year house of cards around LeBron James. This
Village dum-dum. Village hoe, village idiot, village dum-dum. Let me take that back. I don't want to be too rude, man. But, yeah, Jeannie Buss, bro, come on, man. Your dad would roll in his grave. Y'all, you are doing the worst for this team, and you have been. Ever since you gave Jim Buss all the power. Everybody was blaming Jim Buss for years. We got to get Jim out. And then remember we got Magic Johnson. Everybody was jumping for joy. People always forget. Jeannie Buss was still the head of the team, bro. When Jim Buss was, running the team down to the ground, she was still president. Why do people act like that wasn't a thing?
This was so inevitable to see coming with the ego on this guy, but Jeannie Buss just kept on bowing at the altar of the fraud king, and now here we are wasting Anthony Davis's prime away and probably any viable opportunity to win a championship for the next decade. Jerry Buss, the great late Dr. Jerry Buss, would be rolling in his grave right now.
Don't miss a second of Fearless.
I just said that too. That's the funny part, man. So that's going to be it for this video, man. I really was trying to cut it short like 25 minutes ago. But, man, I'm in a good mood. I'm going to be honest with you. I just became a partner on YouTube, man. So I really appreciate all the love that I've been getting, man. I'm going to keep pushing this content out for y'all. And I'm going to keep hitting y'all with this fire, man. And I got a lot to say, especially on this topic, but just sports in general, man. I could talk about basically any team in the league, man, because I really love basketball. But LeBron is just a hot topic for me because I'm a Laker fan, bro. Like I grew up watching the Lakers, man. I grew up watching Lakers. A lot of people be like, man, all you do is make LeBron videos. It's because this dude is a walking cancer, bro. All I see is destruction to this team. And it's like, I know for the next 5+ years, like, there's a reality where the Lakers could bounce back with Anthony Davis, Dalton Connect, Reeves, and if LeBron just retired at the end of the season, they could possibly bounce back, grab somebody eventually in free agency that could eventually take them over the hump. But in about 3 or 4 seasons, even Anthony Davis gotta go. Like, his injury, record, unless he was faking it, because I do find it how ironic that now all these players want to play 82 games once Adam Silver changed the rule to where you got to play at least 65 games to get that max contract. I find that interesting. But basically, if he wasn't faking it all this time, know what I'm saying? Anthony Davis probably got like 3 or 4 more seasons in it, bro. Then after that, the Lakers are going to go right back to obscurity. But what makes it worse is like We spent all those years building that young team back in the day and gave them all away. Dalton Connect looked like he might be the guy of the future, but older rookies, who knows, man? Who knows, man? I'm rooting for him. But when it comes to the rest of this team, like, what really, outside of like LeBron leaving, what really are they gonna do as far as contending for a championship consistently? Outside of trying to find somebody in free agency and hoping like Giannis Antetokounmpo just signs or some stuff like that, what else are they gonna really do? And I think that's what irritates people a lot. So I keep making these videos because it's like we gotta point the obvious out. We gotta point out who the trashiest dude on the team is. Who's the cancer? It's this man, LeBron James, who the guy who made them sign his son and draft his son and give him $8 million, even though he couldn't play a lick of basketball. Taking his coach in JJ Redick, who, I mean, who knows? He seemed okay. He seemed okay as a coach. I wouldn't call him the next Pat Riley like they did, but who knows? But this guy is just such a cancer, and again, 7 seasons with the Lakers, y'all. 7 seasons. Do you know how long that is in basketball terms? For an average basketball player, that's their career. And then for the average superstar, that's half their career. Jordan left in 15, but really played 14 because of that broken leg. Like, I gotta realize, like, that's a long time. And LeBron just been here stinking up the joint. Stinking. And every time he stink up the joint, we/y'all point the finger at other people and say it's their fault and not LeBron's. It's time to hold this man accountable. So yeah, I'm going to keep making these videos. I'm giving that what y'all think. I'm going to probably drop 2, 3, 4 more. Matter of fact, this part 1. This part 1, I'm going to drop a part 2 and a part 3 of this series. I don't really give a damn what y'all think. Like, comment, subscribe though, man. Appreciate the love that y'all give me and help me get to 2,000 subs, man. I'm up out of here.